Coming up on 5 Minute News. Report shows systemic racism in Minneapolis Police Department. US Marine vet released by Russia in prisoner exchange. And 6 million Californians ordered to cut water use due to drought. It's Thursday, April 28. I'm Anthony Davis. An investigation launched after the execution of George Floyd in 2020 found that the Minneapolis Police Department has engaged in a pattern of race discrimination for at least the past decade. The Minnesota Department of Human Rights said on Wednesday it will negotiate a court-enforceable agreement called a consent decree with the city of Minneapolis to address the long list of problems identified in the report. The agency found that the city and police department have engaged in a pattern or practice of race discrimination in violation of state law. Its report detailed evidence showing disparities in how officers use force, stop, search, arrest, and cite people of color, particularly black people, compared to white people in similar circumstances. The report said race-based policing in Minneapolis is primarily a result of police force culture. Officers, supervisors, and trainers receive deficient training, which emphasizes a paramilitary approach to policing that results in officers unnecessarily escalating encounters or using inappropriate levels of force, it said. The report also said the department maintains a culture where officers consistently use racist, misogynistic, and disrespectful language and are rarely held accountable for it. Without fundamental organizational culture changes, reforming MPD's policies, procedures, and trainings will be meaningless, the report said. The report found that officers use higher rates of more severe force against black residents than white people in similar circumstances. It found that Minneapolis police officers are more likely to stop vehicles with people of color and indigenous individuals, often for minor offenses. Minneapolis police improperly, excessively, and disproportionately cite black people for disorderly conduct and obstruction of the legal process, the report said. It also found that police used covert or fake social media accounts to surveil and engage black individuals, black organizations, and elected officials unrelated to criminal activity without a public safety objective. In contrast, the report said officers did not track and surveil white people in cases unrelated to criminal activity and did not use covert social media accounts to track white supremacist or white nationalist groups. Russia and the United States have carried out an unexpected prisoner exchange in a time of high tensions, trading on Wednesday a Marine veteran jailed by Moscow for a convicted Russian drug trafficker serving a long prison sentence in America. The deal, involving Trevor Reed, an American imprisoned for nearly 3 years, would have been a notable diplomatic maneuver even in times of peace. But it was all the more surprising because it was done as Russia's war with Ukraine has driven relations with the US to their lowest point in decades. On the other end of the swap was Konstantin Yaroshenko, a Russian pilot who'd been serving a 20-year federal sentence for conspiring to smuggle cocaine into the US. Even as the Biden administration trumpeted the swap, it made clear the resolution did not herald a broader breakthrough between the countries. Russian forces remain determined in their assault on Ukraine. The US and Western allies continue to impose punishing sanctions, and other Americans still remain jailed in Russia. The swap, the culmination of long-standing requests by both countries, as well as private diplomatic wrangling, took place in Turkey, where the two planes pulled up side by side. Reed, a 30-year-old former Marine from Texas, was arrested in the summer of 2019 after Russian authorities said he assaulted an officer while being driven by police to a police station following a night of heavy drinking. Even on Wednesday, his parents' joy was mitigated by the concern they said they felt about his physical appearance. They were struck by his unsteady gait and how thin he looked as TV footage captured him walking, flanked by guards, from a van to the jet. Reid was en route back to the US, travelling with Roger Carstens, the US government's special presidential envoy for hostage affairs. Southern California's gigantic water supplier has taken the unprecedented step of requiring about 6 million people to cut their outdoor watering to 1 day a week as an extended drought plagues the state following another dry winter. The board of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California declared a water shortage emergency and is requiring certain cities and water agencies it supplies to implement the cutback on June 1st and enforce it or face hefty fines. "We don't have enough water supplies right now to meet normal demand. The water is not there," district spokesperson Rebecca Kimmich said. "This is unprecedented territory. We've never done anything like this before." The Metropolitan Water District restrictions apply to areas of Los Angeles, Ventura, and San Bernardino counties that rely mostly on state water supplied through the district, including some parts of the city of Los Angeles. The affected areas are primarily urban. But record dry conditions due to climate change have strained the system, lowering reservoir levels and the State Water Project, which gets its water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta. The Metropolitan Water District said that the 2020 and 2021 water years had the least rainfall on record for 2 consecutive years. California Governor Gavin Newsom has asked people statewide to voluntarily reduce their water consumption by 15%, but so far, residents have been slow to meet that goal. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.